Yes, okay. It looks like, hold on, I gotta turn on the desktop audio so that people can hear you. I have not tested this layout out yet, so it seems to be working just fine. Renee, welcome. I'm really glad you're here. What are your pronouns today, please?
They, them, please.
Phenomenal. How's it going, Renee? How you doing?
Uh,
Fair enough.
um, honestly, this is the upswing in my day.
I'm glad to help out with that then.
Yes, it's wonderful seeing all y'all's wonderful faces and, not actively trying to kill you this time.
Yes.
I mean, we loved you for it.
So
I appreciate that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was fine.
So
I know we still have the aftermath.
without incident, the party will make its way back to Oakhurst, which is the town where this started. And
a small army of goblins.
I don't think I'll take them into Oakhurst proper.
Yeah, they probably would not respond well. Hold on, I'm adjusting my camera just a touch. There we go. And when you return, you find a few things. One, you find that somehow word of your deeds has kind of already spread ahead of you, possibly through goblins that were faster than you.
Did Urki make it out before us?
No, as far as you
Did.
you don't think, well, maybe actually you did go to the dragon door. Who knows? But he didn't bother you while you were long resting, at least. So you don't know where he is. Perhaps he was the one who spread the tale. That's entirely possible. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and make that canon now. Yeah, Urki finished up his things and began, or his burials, and began spreading tales of the very noble and very serious heroes who were able to destroy the blight of the Gulthias tree and bring peace to the land.
And absolutely didn't rise anything from the dead.
And
Never.
And as you approach the town of Oakhurst, a pair of heavily armored shield dwarves will approach you from Oakhurst, and they will rush forward and begin to speak in Dwarven with Barnabas in an obviously excited sort of way. Who speaks Dwarven?
Hyacinth, I believe.
Hyacinth. They are... Essentially, what you hear from them is, what are you doing? You shouldn't have risked yourself. Why are you here? And I need you to make a history check for me, please, which only you can make because you speak Dwarven.
I speak Dwarvish too, so can I make the history check?
Yes, you can make a
Then
history
I'm probably
check
gonna fail.
as well.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hyacinth.
Plot.
Yeah.
Hyacinth only.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't even
Hyacinth.
have history as a thing.
They are using an obscure honorific to refer to him, and as you look back in your memory, you're pretty sure that this is one of several titles that they use to refer to actual kings.
What?
I'm sorry. What? I don't know anything, but
Okay, that's fine.
So
Well,
they're
he is with us. If he is with us, that does fall into Oops All Nobles.
That's royals. That's a little different.
Hey, says the royalty. Calm down.
So they are fussing over him. That's the best word that you can make for it. You've never seen dwarves
these are his
fuss
retainers.
before, but these dwarves are fussing.
You've clearly never seen them try quibbling over beer making. So.
Yes, indeed.
That's squabbling. It's slightly different.
No. Making it, drinking it. That's squabbling.
What do you do?
I'm gonna watch mostly. Just I want to see what Barnabas's reaction is before. I'm like, currently it could be anything to the rest of the party, and I don't know if spilling his secret is super great right now. But I'm gonna give him a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And then
Totally.
I'll walk up and be like, "Do you need help? I'll say to him in like
Yes.
normal ass human people.
Okay, so that's excellent. Give me just a moment. As you are listening, they continue to fuss over him. He responds in typical growly Barnabas fashion. He does not say much, and he doesn't seem to be suffering their nonsense. He basically, is just telling them to stop bothering him, essentially. As you walk up, and this is where everyone else will be let in. As you walk up and you say, "Hey, is there anything?" What was it? What was it you said when you walk up?
Do you need help with anything right here?
And one of
I'm gonna immediately fall into like the role of like a retainer because I've definitely spent enough time with my own that I can just take that up.
One of the shield dwarves will turn to you and in perfectly articulate common say, You will show proper respect for King Barnabas. Or
I'm sorry.
King.
What?
I'm sorry, King Boulder Shoulder.
Sorry.
King Boulder Shoulder. Yeah.
At that, there like Calder will let out before he can stop himself. He'll let out a surprise. Ha!
Can I actually immediately respond with, "I'm sorry, I was under the impression that His Majesty wanted to keep this on the down low."
I thought he
You're
was
a king?
because one of our parents sent him. What the hell?
He rolls his eyes at his retainers and looks back over at you all and goes, "Well, I hired you. Through your families. I wanted to see what you all could do.
Oh, Lord.
I might have other jobs. Yes." He finally rolls his eyes and he lets one of his retainers drop an iron crown on his head. And he does not look like he gives a damn about the situation. Like, it gets dropped on his head. He's like, whatever. And he looks at you and says, he looks at all of you and says, "You all are unusual." And he looks like he's trying hard to sort of like he's trying to find the right words. This is not Barnabas's normal thing, right? This is probably the most words that you will have heard from Barnabas at one time, up to this point. And he goes,
Flashes back to lubing the sarcophagus with this guy.
What did I do?
Oh, I love it. He says, "My kingdom needs to expand. We're not doing so well. We've been attacked by all sides, and we needed perhaps a X factor to swing the tide in our favor. Maybe, perhaps, in the future, I'll have another job for you, because I think you all..." He can't come up with the words in common, so in Dwarvish, he says, "You are among the most honorable and goofiest group of humans and otherwise that I have ever had the privilege of adventuring with." And he says it in Dwarven, and he says it in high, like the highest of High Dwarven, like the language that you speak at a full court, is the language he's using here. And his retainers immediately stop giving you the eye. They were giving you the eye the whole time. They stop giving you the eye when Barnabas addresses you in such a way.
I will immediately translate before the retainers can do it.
I'll take a step forward, like right next to Barnabas, and be like, "Wait, what are you the king of? Are you king of this?" And I'll point towards Orca, the town.
No.
Oh, Hicks.
I actually have a canonical Forgotten Realms place that he is the king of, but of course that information is not directly in front of me because I am super prepared. So I will make sure to give you that information later, but it is, I think it's Citadel Felbar, perhaps?
Ooh, fan.
I think it's Citadel Felbar that he is the king of. So it is a small-ish to medium-sized dwarven kingdom. It is not a major political powerhouse, but it does sit on an awful lot of natural resources.
Mm.
He tells me that, and I just go like, so from one citadel to another, huh?
Oh,
Lord, Your Majesty.
Oh, for God's sake!
We're gonna do that right
Barnabas,
now.
I'm just gonna. I'll approach him and incline my head very lightly. It has been a distinct pleasure this entire way. And
Go ahead.
And let it be known that if you ever have need of my services, you know I will pass him a similar note that I made for Urki to send it to my family crest, and I'll ensure that my father receives serious. I will see to it that my father seriously considers your call for aid.
He looks at your note and he smiles genuinely, and he looks up at you and says, "I'm a king." And again, yeah, he gives you a full-on, like, dwarves when they are jolly with a capital J, and he gives a full-on grin after he makes his quip.
Oh goodness.
I'll let out a hearty laugh and say, "You still owe me a drink."
He'll motion at one of his retainers, who will look at him like, and he'll go, you can see
Nice.
in the body language, you can see Barnabas pull rank, and the retainer hands a silver flask to you, which is yours now, and has the crest of the Boulder Shoulder family,
Royal line. Damn.
yeah, engraved upon the silver.
That's excellent.
Inside is distilled dwarven spirits. If you think that dwarven beer is strong, just imagine it distilled.
Oh, this is gonna kick my ass, and I look forward to it. I'm so happy that tieflings get advantage against poison.
As you are all sort of gathering around, and the townspeople begin to gather around, and the mayor comes out, and as you're all sort of crowding around, and people are honest to God asking autographs at this point. Like, Forgotten Realms, in the canon that I'm creating here, adventurers are often celebrities. People are trying to get on the ground floor and maybe get some merch going for you. As
So
go ahead.
Notice me, Calder senpai.
can we have the Warmbo voice for that one real quick?
Notice me, Mr. Calder senpai.
Thank you. I'm clipping that. As like we turn to go and stuff. I basically I'll like tap Barnabas on the shoulder, and I will drop 4 signet rings into his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say, if I remember correctly, that was 50 apiece.
He will again motion to his retainers, who will hand out purses. We'll go ahead and I'll get those put in there. We've got a good thing going here. I don't want to deal with mechanics at the moment, but yes, I'll make sure to put those in there. Yes, you are given your payment that was due for not, unfortunately, being able to save them, but being able to recover definite knowledge of how they died and where, which will bring their families some comfort, along with the knowledge that a priest of is it Pelor in Forgotten Realms? Whatever.
No,
Yeah.
I thought that was Greyhawk. Anyway.
Yeah, Pelor is Greyhawk. It's a different one.
Anyway, is tending to the remains and has laid them to rest is the important bit. So yes, you will receive full payment for that. And Um,
I'm
Yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
keeping like at arm in arm with Meepo because now that we're getting like surrounded by a bunch of villagers that
Yeah.
no one from the Citadel usually could approach safely, I'm just like, okay, things are cool. Let's just keep track of the small people in all of this.
as
Clarion like
Ah, my
flashes,
smalls.
like, Grant smiles, but then kind of moves up to Barnabas and kind of goes, "Do I really have to call you Your Majesty? It just seems weird after everything."
please don't.
Cool. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have to, because I'm writing songs about this.
And finally,
How's everybody?
the crowd parts a little bit to reveal a tall and very drowsy half orc who rubs her eyes and looks at you and goes, "All right, is it time to go now?"
Well, sounds right about right.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna look
I
at
don't
Calder
have
and
the
go,
ho-
"This one's yours."
I think Clarion needs to sing you a song.
So let's
you up to speed.
let's go ahead and move into
Well,
epilogue
first of all,
mode.
here's Meet Echo.
Let's go ahead and move into epilogue mode at this point.
Okay.
So Calder, you are taking on these goblins into your household. How does your father respond to not only bringing in a tribe of goblins to perhaps work for you, but also bringing in a kobold as a squire?
Confused at first, but when he hears the story, it's as close to impressed a malignant narcissist usually is. So it's just, oh, sweet, he didn't fuck up. That's as much as I ever could have expected. As Calder is like the weird, like the inexplicable golden child, he like is kind of used as this example of, hey everyone, look at Calder, look at how great he is. Now stop fucking up and be more like him.
Psychanthrope, yes. Our first player character, Alexis, played Sherog, the half-orc, who passed out drunk in our very first game, and unfortunately Alexis was not able to continue to play with us because of scheduling issues, so Sherog was passed out drunk for the entirety of the module.
Yeah, for about a week in game, give or take. It's
He would-
Forgotten Realms, so that's a 10-day.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah.
Albrecht then would order his eldest son to take over Meepo's training, and Meepo would soon learn the ancient hallowed Cheval family tradition of hating my older brother. So,
Oh.
but would learn a good deal from him, enough to become a level 2 paladin. So that would be neat.
Yes, so Meepo will remain with Calder and the majority of the goblins on the estate.
I definitely picture like a goblin village, like they're given like a parcel of like mostly inhospitable land with the expectation of, yeah, they'll do what goblins do, and soon it will be teeming with the fucking things.
That's absolutely true. What measures, if any, are being taken by your family to ensure that nobody enacts violence upon goblins that are often seen as vermin?
At first, it will be like a couple are definitely going to get killed until Calder is made aware of the problem. Calder will bring it to Albrecht, and Albrecht will come down like the fist of an angry god on the individuals responsible, and that will kind of be this. It'll be this moment of, oh shit, they're not. These ones are fine, and so like they'll probably like start taking up like the house colors as like a symbol of why not to fuck with them, because they're goblins that like were given special permission by the Chevals, which will likely negatively affect their ultimate reputation, but will also ultimately contribute to their fear factor because they have goblins.
And it also depends on exactly how those goblins are utilized in the future. Yes, so the "it's just a goblin" defense does not work very definitively. I love that. Do you have anything else you want to add to Calder's story before we move on to somebody else?
Background story stuff, which I'm sure we can incorporate into future sessions, but he will make an effort to It's his intent, I think, in his epilogue to go home for a while, watch over Meepo, watch over the goblins, and like reconnect with his family. And he'll make an effort to stay in touch with the others, especially Echo, because of the goblin connection.
Albrecht will be expressing, admittedly, a bit of a rueful regret that you were unable to save the Gulthias tree or something to be able to perhaps market some of those fruits. However, you did bring the family a pretty high level political advantage or alliance. So your father is going to give you his
Also,
grudging acknowledgement that you did good, son.
Gubby has been given a smock. Gubby is free.
Also, we brought home Shatterspike, and though it is being wielded by a goblin,
Kobold.
It's a nice way of like thumbing the nose of the noble family that used to own it.
And that's oh man. So there's political intrigue there, but also like maybe Meepo wielding Shatter. Let's go ahead and move on to Meepo's story since this is where he ends up as well. Meepo wields Shatterspike, and I'm going to go ahead and switch over to me because I want all of the attention. Meepo wields Shatterspike, and he learns how to use it. And he learns how to use it from a member of Calder's family who is trained in the great sword. So proportionally speaking, he ends up using more or less the same sort of thing. However, Meepo decides during Bye Kistrel, thank you, I love you, I'm glad you're here. Meepo decides that the two-handed sword is not necessarily his passion. He actually trains in the sword and shield, and yes, will begin to level up in Paladin. He, at first, is looked at funny for having such an awe-inspiring and reputable sword. It's a sword with a lot of history. It's a sword that has been passed down from paladin to paladin to paladin. But on the strength of Calder's recommendation, backed up by none other than King Boulder Shoulder himself, Meepo is beginning to establish a reputation as someone who perhaps, maybe given a few more feats of bravery and strength, could be seen far and wide as a successor to this blade. Perhaps. So we're going to go ahead and jump back in. So that's Meepo's story, and he will, of course, come in next module. Hyacinth. I assume everyone goes to Calder's estate. They see all of these things happen. What does Hyacinth do after all of the celebrations at Calder's estate are completed?
Well, I figure after we drop Calder off after the party, then Hyacinth is going to find the woman that they love, and we're gonna elope and not tell her dad.
Why you gotta be so rude?
It's not even, we didn't even ask. To be honest, he hates my dad, he hates my mom. There's like, it's like I have a KOS order from this guy.
Nice.
It is a very Capulet Montague situation here. We're just gonna straight elope. It's gonna be fine.
And you've got the money for it at this point, right? You were paid very, very well for this job.
Doesn't really even have to do much with it because this is where our background or our epilogues intertwine because they're eloping at my parents' place.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna drive the car. We're gonna like park 2 blocks down, with the lights off. We're gonna call her up. She's gonna sneak out the back window. We're gonna leave.
So I'm assuming I'm with you. Yeah. This is so. It's apparently break out the.
It's a new giant scandal.
It's a whole thing. There'll probably be a note somewhere. It'll be like, we'll deal with the aftermath later.
That's why it's called aftermath and not now math.
Yep,
exactly.
I like that.
And
like,
the math professor would know.
There's like I like that the idea that Hyacinth family that there's like for a while there's like posters of and like bounties posted for Hyacinth's arrest.
we left a note. We left a note. There's like I paid like whatever dowry needed to be paid because I have the money.
I like it. Yeah, I like it even more. You left the dowry, but just but left, and now it's like, nah.
It's fine. It's fine, but there's definitely
Okay.
I don't know how
Okay.
far this epilogue is going, but like not early on. I'm
Months
assuming
at least.
that the wife and I will have a conversation. We will ask we'll ask Clarion to be the father of our children.
Oh,
Which is going to
that's
go
so
over so well
adorable.
because Clarion has had a crush on both of them, but does not know it because Clarion has the emotional intelligence of a snail.
A rock, not even a snail.
Yeah, not even something non-living. So yeah,
Well-
that's going to take a lot of talking.
Yeah.
You did kind of effectively just leave the money on the dresser, so I can see why her dad might be mad.
Oh no, it wasn't like on the dresser. Like we're sneaky enough that we can get inside that house and we're gonna leave it on his like desk or something. And be like
a note and a dagger in it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad.
I'm gonna go very full, like, for her I dare. Like, here I as a pirate, I have stolen your daughter. But also here's the payment, because I know that you were looking for this for a dowry, and I'm just saying.
Nothing like transactional
I'm gonna marry her anyway.
relationships and maybe.
No, like I said, didn't even ask. Because if you
Yeah.
ask, then you get a no.
Better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Clarion, let's talk a little bit about that. Now, the next module will probably take place 6 to 12 months from now.
Yes.
So chances are good that pregnancy will be well underway. Tell me a little bit about Clarion's life during this time.
Well, okay. So Clarion thought that the caper to get the wife was lots of fun because, like I said, Clarion has a crush on both of them. We were kind of talking this out beforehand, so
Clarion is down to get down. Anyway.
Yeah. So, Clarion, like after Clarion gets over the shock, I'm sure there are quite a bit of conversations. We still haven't quite worked out who yet is going to be the mommy in the situation. But yeah, so that would be an interesting conversation with Clarion's parents after basically, because they're like, yeah, bring him to get married. That's because my parents are the cool parents. That let us all drink as long as we were under supervision.
And smoke
rather
weed.
you do it in the house.
But I mean, and Clarion's parents are totally up for anything. It shocks them, but they're totally up for anything because I think they probably thought that the only way they were going to be getting grandchildren at all would have been accidentally, not on purpose.
Or like
they
this.
Also, Jen, they probably also thought the Hyacinth was a dude.
That too. Oh yes. Oh yeah. No. So how long do we take to disabuse them of the notion? Does Hyacinth get pregnant and then just
show up?
They're like, why is Hyacinth's belly getting bigger? What's going on here?
We'll find out later.
Yeah, that's something we might actually have to
decided.
sit down and role play out to figure
So-
out.
Roll
That's
dice.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be just a roll in the dice kind of situation. It's going to turn into the background in a cyberpunk game.
So, M
That's not
and
how you use initiative.
M and Jen, do the two of you have anything more you want to add to your epilogue before I move on to Echo?
I'm good here.
No, we have some plans, but those plans are secret until the next
They can
session.
be realized later. Cliffhangers, yes, leave them wanting more. Absolutely.
See you next time.
Gale, let's talk a little bit about what you and the half a dozen goblins or so that are particularly enamored or attached or revenant of you. Revenant's not the right word, but yes.
So actually, before leaving Oakhurst,
Mm-hmm.
Echo, during the celebrations or whatever, Echo would have taken Barnabas aside at one point and basically said, I know your time in the Citadel was pretty awful, but
Someone is echoing. I don't know if someone has speakers going and their mic, but it's echoing pretty bad. Sorry, did not mean to interrupt you. I apologize, Gail. Keep going.
would pull him aside and say, I know you had a pretty bad time in the Citadel. I had a pretty bad time when your sword was in my chest. But I'd really like the opportunity to see that smile again, and I'll hand him the flyer for my performance troupe. I'll leave it at that.
He looks at the flyer, and he looks at you, and he says, "It was an axe."
It was from behind. It was kind of hard to tell with the blade in the... yes, that.
And then he smiles again.
So yeah, I'll accompany all of the goblins to Calder's estate, get things settled in, and then the ones that are taking me up on my offer to come to the troop.
Ooh, we seem to have a frozen Olivia for the moment. I'm sure it's going to catch up in just a moment. Oh man, that is definitely straight up frozen. Oh wait, there you are.
When did I cut off?
Troop,
yeah. Introduce them to the troop, teach them acrobatics. The more industrious probably would go more to like the prop and the set design than actual performance, but we would find a place for the goblins that came with me in some form.
So, and actually, I'm going to wait until Jeff gets his headphones back in. There we go. Hey, Jeff, out of curiosity, what would Calder feel about a troupe of goblin entertainers remaining on the property of the Calderus, of the Creed estate? I'm not saying that's the thing that would happen. I'm just saying how would the family react to such a possibility? An all goblin entertaining troupe.
How okay, I think all of Calder's brothers would hate it, so Calder's instantly a fan. His sisters would probably like be ew goblins until they saw them, and depending if they're actually good, that might change their opinion. His stepmom would be it does not matter how talented they are, they're goblins, ew.
Some people are just bastard-coated bastards with bastard filling.
More that she's just she's a sun elf and therefore, deeply
stuck in her ways.
Towards goblins.
Yeah.
Stuck. There's a word that could be used for her. Yeah.
I was just going to say speciest. So.
So this is not me.
Albrecht would just be utterly indifferent. He does not care. This
is not me saying this is the way it has to go. I'm just saying this is a possibility, perhaps forming a new troupe of all goblin entertainers, or heading back to, I think it was Neverwinter you originally came from.
Yeah. So regardless of what the goblins eventually, once they're trained, decide to do, Echo is staying in Neverwinter. He, in the beginning of this, he had gone back to the Citadel, or near the Citadel, to honor the 10th anniversary of his father's death, and he didn't mean to get dragged back into the Citadel. And while he was able to get some closure, Neverwinter is his home, and he'd be glad to see any of the other people come and visit and see the troop, but that's where Echo's gonna stay. Hopefully with a visit from friends and maybe a king.
So maybe this was already discussed while I was stepped away, but how much, who is left in charge of the goblins?
Oh, I would take the silver earring I got from my little brother, and I would give it to the hobgoblin, and leave him in charge.
And I would the hobgoblin will become the designated
de facto leader.
De facto leader, go-to person for for dealing with goblin matters.
Can you give the hobgoblin a name that isn't Cracks?
Maybe rename him.
Is this Cracks? It's Cracks.
Yeah,
okay, Cracks. It's now War Chief Cracks to you. Cracks the Skull is what he decides to call himself.
Hey, that's much better.
He decides to change his name to Cracks the Skull, and Regent Cracks the Skull. Well done, Linar. I agree. And I think unless anybody...
a bunch of nobles, like he's now palling around a bunch of human nobles, like say, so you're a regent. And he goes, ooh, I like that word.
So unless anybody has anything more to add, I believe that will conclude the module entirely. Yes? Yes.
I think so.
Applause. Absolutely raucous applause. I don't have applause here, unfortunately, so I'm just going to clap. Okay. Wow. That was such a fun time. Renee, now finally, of course, things never go exactly the way, timing-wise, we think they should.